Hello, everybody. My name is Charlie. Today I will be doing a hearing homework. This will be your hearing homework for this week. I figured I could do a episode outside because it looks like a beautiful day outside. Like the sun is here. I'll kind of show. The sun is shining. The grass is green. Somewhat. I know there's dead patches in my yard, but it looks like a beautiful day. But it's actually kind of chilly. So I'm kind of cold. I have no blood in my fingers, so they're already freezing, and going a little numb. But I think it's a nice setting change. And honestly, some could argue that this outside setting kind of expands on the piece of work that we're going to talk about today. And your hearing homework. This is your assignment. Now, whoever watches these, you better actually be listening to these because they're very important. I wouldn't be talking about these if they weren't important. But today we will be talking about the 1980 album. Remain in Light by Talking Heads. Now, the first time I listened to this was some year in high school, just like every other album I feel like I've listened to. And I really dug it first listen. It was the first Talking Heads album that I had listened to. I had heard Once in a Lifetime, obviously. I think my dad had actually showed me a performance of that song, the specific performance of that song in the Stop Making Sense, or what's the live Talking Heads album, the concert film. I'm pretty sure it's called Stop Making Sense. Yeah, I think it is. I'm getting confused with the next album after Remain in Light. That's Speaking in Tongues. But yeah, Stop Making Sense. My dad had showed me the performance of Burning Down the House off that live film. That was my first exposure of Talking Heads. He showed me that when I was really little. Like, I think maybe 9 years old. So, that was probably the first Talking Heads song that I really listened to. But then, of course, Once in a Lifetime is a huge hit. Everybody knows that song, even non-Talking Heads fans. But I want to talk about this album because I think it is so important when we talk about fusion of African American music influence, or just African music influence in more, I guess, like white dominated genres of music. Of course, music is for everybody, but people seem to not talk about the African influences on today's music as much as you probably should. Rock and roll wouldn't be here today without the blues. A lot of music today would not be here without the blues. But with this Talking Heads album, the fusion of specifically Afrobeat. If you guys have ever heard of Fela Kuti, he is the godfather of Afrobeat. And I have a few records of his, and he is extraordinary. He is like a once in a lifetime artist and musician and thinker. And his attitude towards the government, his writing, and his power, his attitude is so influential. And it is just so cool that an album like this exists, that a band, David Byrne, he was exposed to Fela Kuti's music, and even some more samba elements. I think he referenced Tom Zé, the Brazilian composer, as a reference when, writing these songs. But these songs, musically, they were formulated through jam sessions, just Afrobeat influenced jam sessions, and you can really hear it in the music, and just the fusion of electronics through Brian Eno's production. Brian Eno produced this album. It is one of my favorite works by him ever. Um, uh, and just in the rhythms and the jam sessions and the guitar licks and the percussion, and just like even the way the singing, it's just all drenched in that Afrobeat influence. And it is so interesting because that's what I mean. It's just so cool that this exists, because whether you think that that wouldn't be a good idea to fuse Afrobeat and I guess punk music, new wave, I wouldn't categorize this as either. It is such a like a singular thing to me. I haven't really heard a lot of music like this. Of course, the reference point I would probably point to would be Afrobeat. That would probably be the closest thing to this. But this is still such a individual thing to me, and I just have to talk about it, and you have to listen to it. Because here, let me see. But yeah, the first time I listened to it was sometime in high school. This particular copy I got from, I forgot if I ordered it from if I ordered it online from like Turntable Lab, or if I bought it from Guest Room Records. I remember seeing it from Guest Room Records one time, but then passing it up. I didn't pick it up that day. And I think I regretted it so much that I just ended up ordering it off of Turntable Lab or some other website. But I have it. This is a new pressing, obviously. There's no wear or anything. This is the back design. You've got like these red airplanes in this fucking weird filter mountain range kind of thing. It is so surrealist. David Byrne's writing on here is so abstract and chaotic and fucking all over the place. But he still manages to mix reality in with it super well. Where some of these abstract lyrics, he delivers his writing in a very abstract way. And that's what kind of makes it, I guess, relatable. Especially the lyrics to Once in a Lifetime, which I will get to when I go through the track list. But I love the sleeve art. I love the album cover as well. These kind of red blotched out faces. It's just all like just amazing. Obviously, David Byrne is the lead songwriter, and he plays guitar. I also think he plays some keyboards on it as well. And then you've got Jerry Harrison. He is probably the lead guitarist, but he also fucks with synthesizers on this. Then you've got Chris France. He is the drummer. He's the percussionist. And there's a lot of other personnel in this, not just Talking Heads. If you've seen any of the Stop Making Sense footage, there are so many other musicians that are helping this music come to life. But I'll mainly be going over the band, the main squad. But yeah, Chris France, he's percussion, he's the drummer. And then Tina Weymouth, she is the bassist. And the bass lines, just like how bass lines are so important to Afrobeat, the bass lines on all these songs are magnificent. They are amazing, they're perfect. They set the tone and the backdrop musically of this album perfectly. She is just splendid on this album. And she's amazing on all the other Talking Heads releases, but in terms of this album, just the way she listens, she knows the Afrobeat, the heart. She gets the soul, and you can totally tell in her playing just of how magnificent her bass playing on this is. But yeah, here I can. There's also a sleeve design, which is also really cool. You've got these production credits all over here. Brian Eno, he produced all of these songs. All the songs were written by David Byrne. And oh shit, another big personnel member is Adrian Belew. If you guys know Adrian Belew, you may have heard him first in the 1980s King Crimson lineup, like Beat and Discipline, and what is it? Three's a Perfect Pair or something like that. He was the guitarist for King Crimson at that time, and his guitar work on here is also amazing. His solos are like very noisy, very messy, and compared to, I guess, Jerry Harrison's, he lays the sort of Afrobeat rhythm guitar with the cleaner tone, but Adrian Belew's playing is much more abrasive, much louder. It feels like this glitchy kind of blue tinge that are on the band's members' faces right now. It's also kind of windy outside. But yeah, Adrian Belew, can't ignore his power on this album. He is amazing. But yeah, and then here I'll show the record as well. This was released on Sire Records. I don't know I probably do know other albums. I think maybe Richard Hell's stuff was on Sire, but I don't really remember. But yeah, so about the music. Okay, Born Under Punches, The Heat Goes On is fucking insane. Musically, that song is brilliant. It's heavy, but it's not distortion heavy. It's just Tina Weymouth's bass line is so heavy. As soon as the song starts, there's such a bounce and such a rumble to it, and it's squishy, and there are so many brilliant melodic passages and rhythm passages throughout that entire song, and the way David sings is also amazing. I have the lyrics kind of pulled up on my laptop, but his lyrics are so cool. It's a big theme on this album in the writing is paranoia, being uncomfortable in the comfortable, just chaos, and this kind of, there's a bit of isolation with that, being uncomfortable in the comfortable, and there's such a vision in the writing. You can really feel it. In verse 1, David Byrne, he's like yelling, like, take a look at these hands. The hand speaks the hand of a government man. Well, I'm a tumbler, born under punches. The imagery of being born under punches is so cool. Oh, there's like a white cat in my yard right now. Born under punches. What a crazy phrase. Being born right under the nose of violence, whether that violence is directed towards you or if it's passive, is not stated. But just the fact of being born right under punches is so interesting to me. It's fantastic. I think all of these songs have most of these songs have I've kind of picked and chosen like my favorite ones, but they've changed a lot. As I've grown with this album, they've changed a ton. In the chorus, all I want is to breathe. Won't you breathe with me? Then and just the electronic influence again. Brian Eno really kills it musically on this album. Everything blends perfectly. Everything is just kind of soaring into each other. It's amazing. Don't you miss it? Some of you people just about missed it. He talks about Tumblr, being a government man. Just amazing. I love that song. I think right now it is my favorite song on the album, Born Under Punches. And then next you've got, what is it? Cross-Eyed and Painless, I think. Hopefully I'm right. What the hell? Yeah, Cross-Eyed and Painless. My favorite line, or a couple of my favorite lines from that. I have a few lines written down when I was listening to it today. The Island of Doubt. It's like the taste of medicine, working by hindsight. Got the message from the oxygen. How I kind of interpret it, the taste of medicine, curing your self-worth or any emotional damage through medicine, instead of getting the message from the oxygen. I think sort of that dichotomy is what he's singing about. just go outside, man. Just go outside. I probably shouldn't have said that. Interpret that as you will. But that kind of hit me. That kind of impacted me. Musically, this is even more aggressive than the first song, Cross-Eyed and Painless. Also, the name of the song, Cross-Eyed and Painless. Painless. Crazy. Numb. He goes, lost my shape. Trying to act casual. Holy shit. Can't stop. Might end up in the hospital. Changing my shape to explain their experience. Isn't it weird? Looks too obscure to me. Wasting away, that was their policy. I'm ready to leave. And there's like, it's a fast-paced song. This and The Great Curve are both super fast songs, some of the faster tempo songs. And that's also where you really feel that Afrobeat rhythm. And the bongos and just everything is just blends in. It's just performed so well. It's like a chase, like you're running from something. And the lyrics to this are like also very obscure and aren't very direct. Talking about changing shape. That kind of adds to the isolating feeling that I was kind of alluding to. Just trying to change yourself in the most abstract way possible. Changing my shape. You think of like shape shifting or something. Or like I think of David Byrne turning into like this slime figure and kind of molding into just whatever society wants him to mold into. But once you start talking about society, shit flies out the window. So I'm not even going to mention that word throughout the entire video. But still waiting. That refrain is amazing too. The Great Curve is also another fast song, but the percussion on that is like elevated. Just the bongos are amazing. Here, I wish I could play you a snippet, but it's so hypnotic. It's so noisy. David Byrne, he is talking directly to the world in this song. He says, sometimes the world has a load of questions. Seems like the world knows nothing at all. The world is near, but it's out of reach. Some people touch it, but they can't hold on. Trying to understand the ununderstandable or inunderstandable. You'll never be able to understand the world. And I think that's what the Great Curve is. In this song specifically, and towards the end, there was backup singers singing something else. David Byrne is singing another thing. It's crazy. The outro, more notably, divine to define, she is moving to define. So say so, so say so. And then David is saying gone, ending with that finishing, and it's just crazy. Like everything is playing with each other, but it's like they're all intersecting. It's like this is what it sounds like, but sometimes it sounds like this. It's all performed so perfectly. So cool. Sometimes the world knows nothing at all, out of reach, but I can't. She's moving on or wait, where is it? She has got to move the world. Anyways, just listen to it. I'm getting off track. But musically, those first three songs are phenomenal. And that ends side one. Side one only has 3 songs, and they're all over 5 minutes, I'm pretty sure, which is why it kind of ends that quickly, and just he gets the point across in 3 songs. Side B starts out with Once in a Lifetime. Lyrically, I think that song is so underrated. Of course, since it's a hit, not everybody delves into the lyrics to that song. But when I alluded to just being comfortable or being uncomfortable in the comfortable, the ideal life, but still wanting more. The iconic opening lines. You may find yourself living in a shotgun shack, and you may find yourself in another part of the world, And you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile. You may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife. You may ask yourself, how did I get here? It's like, it reminds me of sort of Jack Kerouac's book On the Road, how getting uncomfortable with the norm and just wanting to get out there, experience the misfortune, so important. The human condition, the human experience, kind of similar to Lou Reed's writing, but David Byrne has a very, excuse my language, very autistic way of singing about it and writing about it. Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground, into the blue again after the money's gone. Once in a lifetime, just nature goes. And after the money's gone, what happens? Nature keeps going, but you're kind of halted because you're so dependent on this material. It's just brilliant. I just love the idea of being, I know I've said it so many times, being uncomfortable in the comfortable. I think that's such a humanistic feeling, and this song expresses it like probably the best, as any song that kind of sings about this topic. Yeah, living in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife. How did I get here? It speaks so much. Same as it ever was. Another like brilliant refrain. Next song is Houses in Motion. This is kind of a perfect song that leads into the second half of the album. The second half of the album is almost like a completely different ball game. And I think Houses in Motion is a perfect transition into that because the album begins with songs like The Great Curve and Cross-Eyed Painless, these very aggressive, rhythmic passages that are intense, aggressive, all up in your face. Sounds like a chase scene from a movie. And then Houses in Motion delves more into a more solid sound, but it feels like a bit more ambient, a bit softer, but much more weirder, and a bit more experimentative. Houses in Motion is another really great cut. It's not one that I really go back to a ton, but it is not a miss in the track list whatsoever. It is just as important as the previous four songs. I'm trying to think of, I can't really think of how the song goes. I wish I could sing you guys a couple lines from it. But maybe I can look at the lyrics. Yeah, David Byrne also kind of goes in this spoken word bit, which he does more into the second half of the album. That is very Brian Eno instrumentally based. The first ambient part is Seen and Not Seen, and it is it's very kind of evil sounding. There's a very heavy emphasis on the synths and this weird distant percussion. Almost sounds like bongos, but it sounds also kind of electric. Seen and Not Seen is really great. And then the next one is Listening Wind. That the lyrics to that are very powerful. David sings about a man named Mojik, and he sends a bomb to a American man's house. That's the most literal narrative, but the chorus is amazing. Wind in my hair, the wind in my heart, the dust in my head, the dust in my... It's a pretty gorgeous song. There's these synths that kind of fly over your head that feels like the wind, the listening wind. And Mojik uses the wind to kind of guide his decisions, and that's also a really neat idea. Lyrically, a pretty underrated Talking Heads song. Listening Wind is great. And then the final song is like such a weight. It's The Overload. But it is not, when you think of an overload, you think of like overstimulation, kind of chaotic shit, something that is about to explode. But this is very dark. This is a very dark closing song, especially musically. just there's a very slow bounce, a very deep bounce. It's like if you think of a ball bouncing on concrete, but the concrete sinks with every bounce. Every time the ball touches the concrete, it sinks. And it is a very kind of it's the song instrumentally is deep in that way to me. That's what it feels like, but it's very powerful. These last three songs I don't really go back to a ton, but it's so important in the context of this album, just the dichotomy musically that Talking Heads were able to reach, with the opening Afrobeat influence, and then perfectly transitioning into this slower atmospheric dirge, with songs like Listening When, Seen and Not Seen, but just a really great way to close out the album. I really love this album. I would probably deem it a masterpiece. I am just so in love that a band like this expanded on the Afrobeat influence that was happening in Nigeria, in Africa. And Fela Kuti is such an important part to the music. And I love Fela Kuti. I have such a soft spot for him. I'll probably talk about him on this channel soon. But yeah, just a really great album. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Let me see. No, I've basically touched on everything, I think. In terms of the Talking Heads discography, I think this is my favorite one by them. But I also really love songs about buildings and food. I really want to get that on vinyl soon. And I have a couple hot takes about the band, but I will leave that until I actually talk about the album, but which I will talk about in a very long time because I don't like talking about that album. But I feel like maybe I should talk about albums I also don't like that are in my collection. Maybe that would be interesting. But I don't like hating on music. Actually, it's very fun to hate on music, but you shouldn't do it. Because everybody has their own kind of emotional connection to it, whether their connection seems shallow or not. But I'll get into that soon enough. But thank you guys for watching. This is Remain in Light, Talking Heads, 1980. This is your hearing homework. Thanks for watching.